Mid-year book freakout tag. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't, but today you're gonna experience it with me and talk all about my reading habits so far for 2025. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today, as I said, we're doing the mid-year book freakout tag. I have done this the past couple years in a row and I've loved it every time because I think it's so fun to reflect on my reading habits so far for the year and also just to share with you guys what I've been loving and what I'm excited for. So we have a few questions here, I think like 10 different ones, and I'm just gonna tell you all about the books that I've read, the books I wanna read, and what's been going on in my reading life. So let's get straight into it. So as a quick side note, for these questions, I tried not to pick any books more than once. I think I did have to use one or two of them twice, but for the most part, we're using all of these books one time. And the first question we have here is, what is the best book you've read so far in 2025? And this was very tough for me, but my answer is The Perks of Being a Wallflower. I just read this actually last week and I was so blown away by it. I had seen the movie years ago, but didn't remember much. Went into this so excited for it, pretty much blind, and I just adored it. I go into an in-depth review on it in a video I have coming out soon, so I'm not going to talk too much on it, but I thought this book was just fantastic, heartbreaking, but fantastic, and if you haven't read it, you absolutely should. The next question is the best sequel you've read so far in 2025, and if this had not been a question, this might have been my answer for the first one, but we have Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. This is obviously a Hunger Games sequel. As a huge Hunger Games lover, I had very high expectations for it, but also a lot of nerves, and I went into it really hoping that it would be great, and it was just so fantastic. I was absolutely floored by this book, so blown away by it, and I honestly have it at my number 2 spot for my Hunger Games ranking of the entire series. So if you haven't read it yet, absolutely do. It is so fantastic. Suzanne Collins really outdid herself with this one. You get to learn a lot about Haymitch's character and it is just such a beautiful story. So absolutely a great addition to the Hunger Games series. Go read it. Number 3, we have a 2025 release you haven't read yet, but you want to. And for this one, I immediately knew my answer. We have Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is the newest Taylor Jenkins Reid. It just came out, I think, last month, and it is in the same universe as Daisy Jones and the Six, Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, Malibu Rising, Carrie Soto's Back, and I just adore that whole world that Taylor Jenkins Reid has created. And this one sounds right up my alley because it does have to do with NASA, astronauts, space, and literally nothing could be better for me than that. And my friend Lucy just read it and said she was absolutely destroyed by it, said it made her cry harder than the Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. And the two of us actually bonded originally over how hard we cried over that book. So I do have a bit of fear going into this one, but I'm also just so excited to read it because I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Next, we have an anticipated release for the rest of 2025, and I think I could have said as many as I wanted for this one, but there's really only one that I'm really looking forward to, and that is The Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping. This is the sequel to The Very Secret Society. I always forget the title because it's so long, but I'll put it on the screen. I loved the first book so much. It's like a cozy little fantasy romance and it's just so cute, so darling, and I read it a few years ago and I've been eagerly awaiting this sequel for so long. So I'm excited for it to come out. I'm actually getting it very soon through Aardvark Book Club, so I'm stoked. It's gonna be so great, I just know it. Next, we have your biggest disappointment of 2025, and this one was an easy pick, unfortunately. We have Deep Cuts by Holly Brickley. If you watched my reading vlog on trying to find a 5-star read, you would have seen me read this, and I went into it so excited. I thought this was going to be just so up my alley, a 5-star read. It's a book about a musician and a songwriter, and it's a love story. Like, it sounds so perfect for me, but I was so underwhelmed by it. I felt so disappointed. It was just not what I wanted it to be. I couldn't connect to it and I sadly did not enjoy it. So this so far is my least favorite read of the year. I hate to say that. Next, we have your biggest surprise of the year, and this one was also in the running for my favorite book of 2025, which is why it's the biggest surprise. If you saw my last video, you might know what it is. We have Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I like Emily Henry, but I wouldn't say I love her. I don't get the hype like most girls do, or most people do. I find that usually I enjoy her stories, but I feel just kind of bored by her writing, so I usually don't end up rating her books anywhere near 5 stars, other than the one exception of Beach Read. But this one, I went into it hearing it was great, hearing there was like more of a Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo twist to it, and people were not lying. This book was so freaking good. Like, I was so obsessed with it, read it so quickly, could not put it down. Anytime I wasn't reading, I was just thinking about reading it. So this is definitely my biggest surprise of the year. It was a 5-star read for me, and I'm just like so in love with Emily Henry right now. I'm like excited for her next book in hopes that it's just as good as this one. The next question is your new favorite author. It can be a new author or an author that's just new to you, and I chose 2 authors for this one. First, we have Darcy Coates. I read Ghost Camera by her. She's a horror author I've been wanting to try out for a while because I've heard good things, and I was just so obsessed. Like, I feel that her books were just the right amount of creepy. I didn't really feel scared by any of them, except for the last one, because if you didn't know, this is a short story collection. The last one ended up making me have a literal nightmare, and I felt paranoid for days after. So like, I feel like she really did her job as a horror author, which is really difficult for me because I never end up being like freaked out or scared by horror books. So that's why she is in the running for new favorite author. And then the other one we have is B.K. Borison. I read First Time Caller by her this year, and I just thought it was the sweetest, most precious story ever. It was like one of my favorite romances I've ever read, and also like the cover, hello. So I can't wait for the new one that's coming out. It's, I think, an interconnected standalone to this, and it's just gonna be fantastic. I cannot wait. And then the next question is your newest fictional crush, and to go along with that, I would have to say Aidan Valentine from First Time Caller. I thought he was just a great guy. Like, I thought he was so sweet, so caring. I just really liked how he treated Lucy in this book, which I think is really important. And so he was definitely one that has stayed on my mind for a while. The next question is your newest favorite character from a book, and this one actually I think is kind of surprising, but I chose Joey from You'd Be Home Now by Kathleen Glasgow. Joey is one of the main characters in this book. He is kind of in a way who the book centers around, because he is the brother in this book who has a drug addiction, a substance abuse problem, and you're kind of watching him go through rehab and try to get better throughout the whole book. But I just thought he was so sweet and such a loving brother despite everything he was going through, and I loved to watch his character grow and change throughout the book, and I just felt like this really deep, like, emotional connection to him. Like, I just want to protect him at all costs. That's how I felt the entire book. So really, really loved him. Was not expecting him to be my new favorite character, but here we are. Next, we have a book that made you cry this year, and this is not a new book to me. It's one that I just read for the first time in probably a decade. We Have the Fault in Our Stars. Like, duh. How could I not say this one? I have read this book, I think, 9 times in my life now, but as I said, this was my first time in a decade reading it, and it just never fails to make me absolutely just sob. Like, it's so sad, obviously, but it's just also a really beautiful story. I will never get over what John Green did with this one. Like, I don't think there's much more I need to say. Next up, we have a book that made you happy, and this is kind of a different one. I have The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse by Charlie Macquarie, I think. Mackesy, sure. I read this one with my boyfriend, and I just thought it was a really precious book that made kind of everyone feel seen. There's like something in here for everyone, and I think that's really important. Also, the illustrations in it are so stunning. So this one just made me literally smile the entire time we were reading it. It was like a 30-minute read, and I just like could not wipe the smile off my face. So it was one that made me feel happy, and I've remembered that feeling. Next question is the most beautiful book you've gotten or received this year, and I have 2 for this one. The first one is one that I've received. We have The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab, but it is the French version. My boyfriend got me this for my birthday, and I think it's so cool. Like, I literally just stare at this all the time. It's like really cool because she looks all like kind of blurry, but then you take the cover off and it's like a clear picture of Addie, and I think it is just so beautiful. I'm literally so obsessed with this. So that is one of them. And the other one we have is the special edition of Watch Me by Tahira Mafi. This is the newest spin-off for the Shatter Me series. And like, just look at this cover. It's like so pretty, and I stared at it probably for 2 days straight after getting it. So how could I not? And finally, we have books that you must read before the end of 2025, and I honestly have such a long list I could give you for this one, but I'm just going to show you 4 that are definitely near the top for me. We have Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab, a sapphic vampire romance fantasy. That sounds so fantastic, and I've heard it's great. Passion Project by Lennon Sperry. I have two friends who have just said that this is such an incredible book, so I feel like I must read it ASAP. Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. Love her. 7 Year Slip is one of my favorites, and I've been hearing great things about it, so I really want to read it so soon. And finally, My Friends by Frederick Bachman, because it just sounds so good. My sister started it and said she was immediately in love with it, so I want to read it so soon, like tomorrow. So that was my mid-year book freakout tag. Those are all the books I've been reading, all the books I want to get to, all the fun things. I have been having such a fun reading year. I feel like this is finally the year that I'm getting back into reading and really just loving it, and that is such an exciting thing for me. So if you guys have anything you want to say about your reading habits, feel free to let me know down below. Also, if you want to be friends, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. All my links are down below. Go follow me, do whatever you want. I love making friends in this community. So with all that being said, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next video.